Hi friends, welcome to the first lecture of Let's Excel series. Here we are going to talk about Microsoft Excel and learn along with me Divanshu Kapoor at TrendBends. So the first thing which we need to do is I hope that you have your Microsoft Excel package installed in your laptops or computers. I use a MacBook, so I'll be parallelly talking about how certain commands function in case of Windows. So first, we need to do is we need to open Microsoft Excel. So what we'll do, we'll just double click on it, and we'll wait for Microsoft Excel to open. This is we'll click on blank workbook, and we'll click on create, or you can just double click on this. Either of the two options you can take. So either you can click on blank workbook, double click it, a new sheet will open up, or you could have clicked on create button also. Now the first thing which you see here is at the top book 1 is written. Now what does this mean? This is a name which has been automatically assigned by Microsoft to this particular workbook. So this is the book where we are working. So this is a workbook and book 1. For example, if I open one more workbook, it will automatically assign book 2 to it. If I open one more, the next one will be book 3. So this is quite obvious. Now what is Microsoft Excel? Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet package. For example, Microsoft Word is a word processor package. Microsoft PowerPoint is a presentation package. Adobe Photoshop is a photo editor. Similarly, Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet package. Now, what does spreadsheet means? Spreadsheet is basically any package wherein there is a grid of rows and columns, and certain data can be captured in it. It can be manipulated, and certain formulas are there, with which we can work upon that data. Formulas will obviously work on the numeric data. So, in totality, any package which fulfills these criteria is known as a spreadsheet package, and Microsoft Excel is one of them. Is there any another example other than Microsoft Excel? So yes, in case of MacBook, from Apple you get a product called Numbers that is also a spreadsheet package. So let's now come to the bottom of this sheet of this workbook. You'll see there is written sheet 1. So you can add more sheets to your workbook. For example, if I click on this plus sign here, I can add one more sheet. I can add another sheet. And basis the data I'm working upon. For example, if you are assigning some data month wise, so you can just double click on it and label it as January data. Double click on this, you can write February. Or for example, if you're working on some data which has some title, for example, if you're working on stock market, so you can write stocks. If you're working on equity, you can write equity, futures, options. So we can easily add more sheets. By default, there is single sheet in Microsoft Excel. If you need to add more sheets, just click on this plus sign. Now let's go back to another workbook which we had opened earlier. Let's go to book 2. You see there is only one sheet assigned. Let's create another workbook. Let's click on new. This is book 4, you can see, and there's only one sheet assigned. If you want to change the settings of your workbook, that by default, whenever you open Excel, there should be minimum 3 sheets or 4 sheets which should be there by default. So how do you do that? So for that, you need to change the settings. So what we'll do, we'll go to Excel here. In the case of Microsoft Windows users, please click on File. In case of Mac users, please click on Excel. Once you click on Excel, go to Preferences. In the case of Microsoft, Windows, go to File, and at the bottom you will get an option More. Click on that, you will further get an option called options. Once you click on that, you will have a dialog box opened up. Click on general settings and look here, sheets in new workbooks. So let's increase the number to 3. I want 3 sheets. Whenever I create a new workbook, I should have 3 sheets. So let me just do this and let's click on a new sheet. You see, we have created a new book. This is book 5 and we have 3 sheets now. Let's open one more. Let's create a new workbook. And again, we have 3 sheets there. Now let's look at these sheets again. When you right click on it, you get an option, a list of options. So the first option is insert sheet, which you could have done by clicking plus also, which was mentioned at the after the last sheet. Otherwise, you can just right click on it and click on insert sheet. Please note the new sheet which is added before the sheet where you had right clicked. For example, if I want to insert a sheet between sheet 2 and sheet 3, I right click on sheet 3, I click on insert sheet, and you see a new sheet has been assigned between sheet 2 and sheet 3. So we have seen how to label them, we have seen how to assign a new sheet. Now let's look at the next option. If I want to delete this sheet, I can just click on delete and it will be deleted. Please note, if I press Ctrl Z, it won't add that sheet back. Once you delete the sheet, it will be permanently deleted. It cannot be restored, come what may. Now, let's click on the next option, rename. So either you could have double clicked on it or you could right click and select the rename option. So let me rename this as equity. Let's move or copy. So either you can just drag by continuously clicking your left mouse button or left trackpad button, and you can just place it wherever you want. If you want to create a duplicate of this sheet, Windows users press Ctrl and left click, a new sheet will be created. In case of Mac users, select Option key and drag it. A new sheet is created, a duplicate of that is created. So I'll repeat. In case of Windows users, click on Ctrl and press the left button. This is how it will look. Wherever you want the duplicate of that sheet, release your mouse button and the Control key, and you will get a duplicate of that sheet. In the case of Mac users, select the Option key from your keyboard, click on left button. This is how it looks once you have done that. Drag where you want the new sheet to appear, the duplicate copy, and it will be created. So let's move on to the next thing, which is view code. So when you click on that, a VBA, which is Visual Basic, this sheet will open up. We'll look at this later on, much later, after the initial Excel discussions have been done, what this is and how do we work upon this. So as of now, if you want to see the code, the Visual Basic code of a Microsoft sheet in a workbook, you can just right click on that sheet and this will open up. Protect sheet. So the next option is protect sheet. This is quite essential whenever you are sharing some data with somebody and you don't want that person should not be able to edit that data. So for example here, if I click on protect sheet, it will ask for password. It's optional. You may assign a password to it, you may not. For example, if I assign a password here, and there are certain options which are listed below. These are the options which will, whenever this sheet will be shared with somebody, that person will be able to only do those things for which you have selected the checkbox. For example, out here I have selected the first two options which pertains to select criteria. So I can select the data. So let's do that. So you can see there's a lock which has appeared here which tells us that this sheet is locked. Now if I right click on this, you see certain options are disabled. I cannot click on insert, delete, format cells, hyperlink. Even when you check the ribbon up at the top, we'll talk about the ribbon later in one of the upcoming sessions. You see, they are all disabled. How does it look otherwise? Let's look at an unprotected sheet. You see, they are now enabled. This is disabled, this is enabled. And once I right click on this, all the options are enabled in the unprotected sheet, whereas in the case of a protected sheet, these options other than the select criteria, they are disabled. You can choose to unprotect the sheet by assigning the password, and we have our all the options enabled now. Even at the top in the ribbon, you can see that the options are back. That's it for the first lecture on this series. We'll meet for the next lecture soon. Gracias and adios. Hasta luego from TrendBends. Thank you.